Hey guys, welcome back to the Baseball Diaries. This is our second episode. We're doing an NL predictions uh, episode here. We're going to start with the news of the day. There's some big news in the NL, also some big news in the AL, but we'll get to the AL at a different point. So right now, just to touch on the first major news story, Garrett Cole out for 1 to 2 months, and Marcus Stroman and Carlos Rodon have both been announced that they will not be the starting day pitchers for the Yankees. So the opening day pitcher could either be a guy who's pitched 20 games in Major League Baseball, maybe, or Nestor Cortez, who has had a horrific spring training. And then after that, we're really not sure. In fact, another story just came out. I just saw it on Twitter, actually, that Marcus Stroman actually turned down a request from Aaron Boone to be the opening day starter because he wants to stick to his schedule, which is interesting because his schedule's completely been thrown off by Garrett Cole being out for 1 to 2 months anyway. And they haven't revealed the extent of what that injury actually is. We won't really know, I guess, until he comes back in 1 to 2 months. It's unlikely that he tore his UCL, but at this point, the damage has to be there. So we'll see what that stress puts on his elbow at some point this season. Hopefully it's not like so severe that he can't just pitch through the season. But shutting him down for 1 to 2 months isn't exactly a good start for Yankees fans, especially not when your opening day starter is so up in the air that you have no idea it's going to be either your 4 or your 5 guy. Next item on the news, you got Devin Williams, 3 months out, 2 stress fractures in his back, and it said he pitched through back pain throughout September. So this guy's been hurt for a while, and they just didn't know the extent, and now he's out for 3 months. That really dents the Brewers' hopes, which we'll get into when we talk about the NL Central. And the Padres have acquired Dylan Cease from the White Sox for essentially the rest of their farm system that they had left. So we're going to dive all into that. And anything you want to say on those 3 news items there?
Yeah, so I mean, when you were talking about the Yankees having Cole out for 1 to 2 months, and I didn't realize that Stroman turned down the offer to start for the Yankees. That just doesn't make sense to me. When he came over there, he knew he wasn't going to be the ace, obviously with Garrett Cole being there, but you can't. I feel like that's a spot you can't turn down, being the open day starter. I just don't think that's an option when you're Marcus Stroman, who has been that guy. He's been the ace of other teams before. He's been the ace of the Cubs. He was the ace of the Mets for a little bit, even though kind of the ace of the Mets. It was a gifted ace of the Mets just because everyone was injured like usual. But yeah, I didn't realize he turned that down. I mean, at this point, like, honestly, who's starting for the Yankees opening day? I don't know. I'm between Danny DeVito and possibly getting a phone call myself opening for the Yankees, because honestly, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know what's their starting rotation look like in general. If they have Rodon out and they have Rodon is out, and then not only that, but Cole is out for 1 to 2 months, what does that starting rotation look like? I mean,
and we talked about this on the last episode. It was like, you have no idea what that rotation is even shaping up to be. Like, it blew my mind that this story came out. I saw it I swear, probably like 10 minutes ago, that Stroman didn't want to be the opening day starter because it would mess with his schedule. And I'm like, your schedule is already messed up because you are not pitching in the spot you thought you'd be. You're elevated because Cole is out. Your schedule is no longer there. If you're ready to go for opening day, you have to be ready to go. You're a Yankee at this point. Like, you have to be that guy.
Is there any news on Domingo Germán? Is he coming back? Like,
that's a great question. I actually don't know.
Like, because I'm looking at their starting rotation last year, and they had Domingo Germán, who he threw a perfect game. Couldn't have been somebody worse to do it, honestly.
Oh God, yeah.
Literally, possibly the worst person to do it. It makes me sad that it was him.
It's a very sad fact that he's the one that threw it.
Yeah, I mean, it says offers for MLB to return after seeking alcohol abuse treatment. So it doesn't look like he's back. Like, it still looks like it
looks like he's
going through treatment. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, he's a free agent right now, so he's definitely not with them. It's what do they do? I mean, I don't know where they go from their starting rotation. I mean, it sounds like we're just doing a podcast on shitting on the Yankees, but honestly, they had all this hope going into this year, having Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, picking up Juan Soto, picking up Marcus Stroman, and that injury bug has hit them again. And now it's like, okay, your opening day starter most likely, I'm guessing, is going to be Nestor Cortez.
I think
If
it
I'm
has
being
to be.
serious,
Yeah,
but
I think it has to be Cortez. Like there,
yeah,
because you're not going to bring Herman back to be your opening day starter
no,
after all of the scandals he's already been through, the fact
yeah,
that he's going through alcohol abuse treatment. Like, if he gets a shot with like some team that's in the doldrums of the division, that's fine. You can't bring him back and have him start opening day for you if you're the New York Yankees.
yeah. No, I completely agree. It just doesn't make any sense to me that like what they're going to do. I don't see a clear picture for them, and I honestly don't know um, what it's gonna like. Their hopes always every year is to win a World Series and win the division.
Yeah,
I don't see a clear picture of that. I just don't. Like I don't see them. I don't see them. We'll get into that more in the American League predictions, but regardless, I'll just say my last piece on that is I just don't see them even sniffing the playoffs next year. Honestly,
it's going to be a tough, like it's going to be an uphill battle minimum because they're probably going to stumble out of the blocks. And it's like, especially the one thing that bugs me the most about the Aaron Boone announcement that Rodon wasn't going to be the starter. It's like, this is a guy you paid a ton of money to last year. You have no faith in him to be your opening day guy if your ace goes down. That's not good. Um, with that, I mean, we can move on to Devin Williams and see
yeah,
what do you think about the Brewers situation, considering their
it makes me happy.
rotation, their yeah, as a Cardinals fan, I'd be happy too. I mean, 3 months without your closer, that's
Yeah,
rough.
and Devin Williams isn't just a good. I mean, he's a great closer. I mean
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Which don't get me wrong, that Brewers bullpen in general, they're always going to be good. They're always good. It's just a matter of what like it's just a matter of who's going to be good coming out of there.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
true.
they're always good. I swear they bring up a cleanup once in a while. They'll bring in like a cleanup guy when they're down by 6 or something like that, and the freaking guy's got like a 3.3 ERA, and you're like, wow, I wish we had a guy like that.
Yeah, it's like they'll bring in Hobie Milner, and the guy has like an 88 mile an hour fastball, and you're just like, and has the weirdest arm slot in the entire world. But then everyone else in that bullpen throws 104, and you're just like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're kind of like they're the NL Central Rays, where it's just like,
They
oh,
are.
everybody
Yeah.
in their bullpen is nasty. Why? We don't know. Like, it's kind of hilarious.
Science can't explain it.
No, yeah. So I think that him getting shelved. By the way, I was struggling for a little bit because for some reason my like this screen that's our podcast screen disappeared on me. I could tell you could hear me. It was still recording, but it was gone. So if I looked like I was confused for a minute, that's why.
Understandable.
Yeah. So yeah, Devin Williams out for 3 months with 2 stress fractures in the back, and apparently it's been a nagging issue for him.
Yeah.
Bad for the Brewers. It's going to be like I said, somebody's going to step in and close for them, and they're going to be just fine with that. But I do think that's a huge loss for them.
Oh, absolutely. I think that I already didn't really like love the Brewers lineup, especially with their whole almost seeming not committed to a rebuild, but not committed to contending kind of thing. Really has like this Devin Williams news really sours me on them for like the entire season because it's like those 3 months. It's like, yeah, you think it's the first 3 months of the season. You have to establish yourself there. If
Yeah,
they can't, what are you going to do? Like
yeah,
you're trying to you're half in half out trying to win the division or rebuild, and they have not made up their mind. And if this doesn't make them make up their mind, like I would start selling pieces now if I was
I
Milwaukee.
would too. I mean, if I was Milwaukee, they have a chance to win the Central. Every team in the Central has a chance to win the Central. But again, what does that do for you? You're not as good as the Phillies. You're not as good as the Braves. You're not as good as the Dodgers. Not as good as the Diamondbacks. Possibly, arguably, as good as like the Giants.
And I would put the Giants over them right now.
Yeah. I
would put the Giants over them right now.
yeah, I would think.
Like, the Giants probably aren't done because they've been linked to Snell and Montgomery in the last 3 days.
Yeah,
It's like you have to think as the Brewers, what the hell are you going to do to compete with all of those teams you've just listed, and one that you're maybe on par with that is still looking to make moves.
yeah. I mean, exactly. And guess what? The Giants aren't even making the playoffs. Well, if they do, It'll be a wild card spot, and it
Yeah,
would be it'll likely be the third spot in the wild card. They could upset the Diamondbacks and maybe steal that second spot, but I don't see it happening. Honestly, I think the Diamondbacks are just going to get better. They're a young team, and Corbin Carroll is here to stay. Kettle Marte is still a stud. They still got Zach Gallen. I mean, Merrill Kelly. They still got guys on
and
that
Edrod.
team. Yeah, and
Like,
exactly.
as a
They just
solid three. Like
yep.
those,
That's a
that top three is very good.
yeah.
And
So
like, I don't know, man.
yeah. So I agree. I think if I'm the Brewers, this is a time to sell, rebuild. Like
Yeah.
you lost Craig Counsell, who was your goat of goats for coaching. You traded away Corbin Burns. You go out and sign Rhys Hoskins, which makes no sense because literally Rhys Hoskins could go on a lot of other teams and help them win in the playoffs, help them win some games.
He
Like
even said in his preliminary press conference that signing with Milwaukee, the Corbin Burns being there was one of the reasons he signed. He's gone like 2 days later.
yeah, and I think the Brewers they have a history. I shouldn't say I think they have a history of upsetting the team. They did the same thing with it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago when they traded away Josh Hader. Corbin Burns said in an interview it felt like a slap in the face when they traded away Josh Hader because they were first in the division when they had Josh Hader and they traded him away.
And
So
they had Josh Hader and Devin Williams in the same bullpen, and they were like, "Oh, well, we only need one." It's like, no. You can have
no,
a great setup man and a great closer.
you
And
just made the game
it's a
7
righty
innings
and a
long.
lefty. It's
Yeah.
a righty and a lefty. You could mix and match the closing roles there.
Yeah, exactly. And then not only that, but days where it's a close game. There's going to be days where you have two close games back to back in the ninth. One guy might be worn. Josh Hader, when he was with the Brewers originally, he kind of stopped doing it at the end, but he would go 6 outs. He would go 6, 7 outs sometimes. He doesn't do it anymore because I understand, we both understand, arbitration. They pay for saves, not for holds, not for extra batters. They pay for saves. And Josh Hader did the wise business move and said, you know what, I'm just a closer then. I'm just pitching the ninth.
I mean, and that's a smart financial decision, but like, it makes the Brewers it sours everyone on the Brewers organization. Like, you are just, I mean, even their arbitration case against Burns, like Burns attends his arbitration case, comes back, clearly is pissed off at the organization, and now he's on the Orioles. And their new ownership group is clearly not unwilling to spend money like that. They might extend him, and their new ownership group looks a lot better.
It does. I agree with you.
Than their old one. I mean,
I think it's early. I think don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think if they extend Burns or if they go get another guy, yeah, they're showing a clear picture that they're changing the tone. They're going to be they're not going to spend like the Yankees or Dodgers or something like that. But they're going to spend. They're going to try and get the team good again. And I think
the success without the spending is going to lead them to start spending, like, because they know they're going to have to pay Adley, Gunnar, all of them. I
have
think to. You've got to extend those guys as soon as possible. Like, if I were the Orioles, I'd extend Adley now.
I would think the same. If I was the Orioles, I'd be doing what the Braves did. I'd be extending their young guys right now. Like extend Grayson, extend Adley. You build the team around it. In my opinion, you 100%. You build that team. I'd say extend him to a 12-year contract right now. Like he's 20. He's 26. Yeah,
you can just see the way different teams are run. It's like the fact that this is a nagging injury for Devin Williams. Like, again, this is the subject of this news memo.
Yeah.
You're just seeing the way different teams are run, and you're just like, how in the hell do you let a guy pitch through back discomfort for 2 months? Like, because he pitched in October.
Yeah, he did.
That just blows my mind. And
that makes me
when we
curious.
get into the NL Central, that's gonna be a reason where they are in my list. Like, it's gonna be one of the reasons where they are. So the last news item. Padres.
1 second before we move on from there, just because I'm curious, what Devin Williams, what his last month of pitching looked like. I'm curious if it dropped off a lot.
It wouldn't surprise me if it did.
That's what I'm thinking. Platoon splits, first and second half. Actually, he got better. I don't know how he did it, but he got better with back injuries.
That's really impressive, actually.
Yeah, he had so for the first half of the season, he had 33 innings pitched with a 1.98 ERA. and then 1.89 ERA, and then the second half he had 25 innings pitched with a 107 ERA. I mean
Jesus.
his last month he had a 193, and then in August he had a one flat.
That is
So
crazy.
apparently he gets better with pain. Um, that's my new storyline for him is give him pain, and apparently he's better.
The title of this podcast is going to be Devin Williams, sadist? Question mark.
Yeah, yeah. Devin Williams is a masochist. Likes to get before games. Before games, has the bullpen kick him in the back before heading in.
That's a good one. Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
So
last item, Padres getting Dylan Cease for essentially the rest of their farm system. I mean, and there was
yeah.
a thing that I saw earlier. I believe Talking Baseball put it out on their Twitter. Said grade. No. It was like a Bleacher Report thing. Grade this as if it was a 3-team trade. I'm going to pull up that tweet because I know I said something about it, and I started to kind of rethink it, but I definitely was immediately thinking like, Jesus, the White Sox have somehow just run themselves into the ground,
Oh yeah. When
especially
literally,
after like you had such a promising future and you threw it away.
I
You
mean,
just got rid of your ace before the season even starts. Like
honestly,
that's your opening day starter. Their
yeah,
opening day
yeah.
starter now is projected to be Eric Fetty,
Ooh,
who's like he was good in I think
yeah.
Korea. He was good in Korea, but now you have after him you have Kopech and uh
Michael Kopech is good. He's got good stuff, but he hasn't proven
Kopech's
himself
good.
yet.
No, and that's the thing. He's been so inconsistent. So
Yeah.
it's like Cease has been good and very good at times.
Now,
Kopech has been hit or miss, and then you took Michael Soroka from the Braves,
yeah,
and
which
Soroka is good when he's not on IR.
yeah,
Well,
and
IR.
unfortunately, like with Soroka, it's like he had one of those injuries with the Achilles tear that it's hard to come back from, and
And I
he
think
hasn't really come back.
no, and I think he's torn it twice. I think he's torn his
Yeah,
Achilles twice now, and it's
no,
like,
it was something. I think it was TJ, and then I think he tore his Achilles right after,
okay, that would
if I'm
make
not
sense.
mistaken, which
Okay,
is a terrible turn of events.
yeah, that sucks. So here it is. Grade this as if it was a 3-team trade. Yankees acquire Juan Soto and Trent Grisham. Chicago gets Drew Thorpe, Jairo Iriarte, Sammy Zavala, and Steven Wilson. San Diego gets Dylan Cease, Michael King, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka. And it's like you don't really love the return
No,
for most of them, but if I'm grading anyone the best, like I'm hard pressed not to say the Yankees, but also like San Diego getting 2 starting pitchers and then like 2 like potential guys for the future, fine.
yeah,
But like Juan Soto's clearly the crown jewel there,
clearly,
and it's just like the fact that they got Dylan Cease and Michael King, I kind of like because I like both. I like both of those guys as starters for
yeah,
the
yeah.
Padres. I think they'll be the Padres are going to be so like he's mixed in a dogfight in the NL West.
It's
And I don't really know if that puts you over the top because it's like yes, you have
no.
Tatis and you have Machado, but are you
Machado
really?
was a shell of himself last year,
And
honestly.
he's looked like he's been actively regressing as a player, and it's
Yeah.
like
Well, other than the year before that.
well, yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
he's just kind of like seemed to struggle in the last year. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's age. Maybe something's just keeping him from being what he used to be.
And it's crazy because like it's not like he's far removed. In 2022, he was a runner up for MVP, had an 898 OPS. Like he was an absolute stud in 2022. And then you go to 2023 and he puts up a 782 OPS, doesn't get a single MVP vote, not even an All-Star that year.
Yeah,
OPS, I mean his OPS plus literally jumped from 157 in 2022 to 115 last year. Yeah.
that's a nightmare.
That's I mean it's a crazy decline. It doesn't it's I don't know why that is. I really don't. I mean, his
I mean,
plate
and that's
appearances.
a
He
team.
missed some games, but not a ton. I mean, he played or he had 600. He had 600 plate appearances last year, so it's not like he was injured for most of the year. So I don't know
No,
I don't know what to expect from Machado. And then
no,
Tatis, um, I don't.
I mean,
Yeah,
Tatis is just Tatis. Like the
yeah,
guy's going, he's gonna rake. But you got
yeah.
like you're looking at that team, and you're like, this team was before the season when they signed Bogarts. It's like at that like opening press conference, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter who we're gonna play in the World Series, we're gonna beat them, and then it's like you don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, oh, exactly. They don't even make playoffs, and then not only do they not only make playoffs, they won 82 games last year.
Like, they were largely
non-competitive. Yeah, yeah. For a lot of the season, they were pretty much like not once during the season did I really think that they're going to make the playoffs. Honestly,
No, and
like
it's like even when they had that one run where they won like I don't know if it was 11 straight, but it was they won a bunch of games in a row, and I was just like, this team still isn't threatening enough
no, and
because
it's crazy to say.
they were barely even challenging for a wild card spot, and you're just like, Jesus, you have a guy who won the Cy Young at the top of your rotation.
Yeah, and then
How did you
your
dominate?
two guys, you Darvish, like you Darvish is your two, who I believe um, he was the fastest pitcher to what was it, 1,000 strikeouts or 2,000 strikeouts, one of the two.
It was one of the two.
Yeah, he was the fastest pitcher in baseball history to do it.
Yeah, and
Well, obviously with games played.
the guy has like 9 pitches,
Yeah,
and you're just like
it's
his
so
delivery is so like
it was 1,000 pitches. It was 1,000 pitches. His fastest pitcher to 1,000 pitches.
Jesus.
Or
That's
sorry, fastest pitcher to 1,000 strikeouts.
yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, yeah. Clear it up for the listeners. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
AKA my dad. And
and that guy from spring training.
Yep. Thank you for your listening.
Yeah, and like, but the thing is like I don't love the return for Chicago on that trade.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a 3-team trade, it's like it's still. If I'm the Yankees, I'm taking that because
Yeah.
the only reason I would not grade it like an A+ for the Yankees, and I would say that it was probably like a B because they haven't extended Soto yet.
Yeah.
Because right now it's still a rental. If you extend him, it's an A+
And
because
Juan Soto has been
Soto.
yeah, and Juan Soto has been very vocal about he is going to test the free agency market.
And he's also his agent's Boris. So
yeah, I was going to say I'm pretty sure he's a Boris. I didn't want to say that because I was like I'm pretty sure, but I'm 90% sure he's a Boris guy. Yeah,
and
Boris
that class in this upcoming, which we'll get to eventually, that class is going to be
it's going to be insane. It's going to be a wild class. Yeah,
wild.
So if you're a listener now, stick with us through the off season because we're going to have a lot to talk about for sure.
This next off season is going to be a movie.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one.
Who knows how long it'll take because this current market clearly isn't really favoring Boris. But
no. I mean, and it's here. So I've been hesitant to. I won't say it because it's not. It's like so. Some people have been critiquing Boris on his choices of holding out, and my reason for not wanting to do that is Boris. He's known as one of the best agents of baseball, if not the best agent in baseball. It's hard to and he's had the history of doing everything right. So it's almost hard to it's hard to go against him because it's like, look, he's having this weird offseason this year where he's not getting these players his biggest agent or his biggest players signed right now, but he's had such a long history of being one of the best agents that it's like it's hard to vote against him.
No, and I agree. I think that his class next year is going to be far better than this one. And it's like, with some of the players in this class for this offseason, I was like, yeah, you know what? I can see why no one's like throwing money at them. Because like there's some doubt in Montgomery and Snell and even Bellinger. It's like Bellinger had a bounce back year and it was great for the Cubs. And I hope Bellinger is healthy enough to continue being successful at this point because like he was electric on the Dodgers. Now it's kind of like, well, can he continue that? So I understand why no one threw money at him.
Yeah, it was a weird class. I mean, because all three of his big guys, with Bellinger, Snell, and Montgomery, there's question marks. I mean, the question mark with Bellinger, he had a great bounce back year, had an 881 OPS. But he did it in a completely different fashion than he used to be, than a completely different way than he used to play baseball. I mean, He was a big time home run threat when he was with the Dodgers. 39 home runs his first year, 25 his second year, 47 his third year. When he's this last year, he only had 26 home runs. I mean, he was doing it largely by he was getting a lot of a lot of softer contact and being a batting average guy rather than just
And
being.
that's the thing. His I think his BABIP was at a historic high,
Yeah,
for
it
him.
was.
And you're
Um, can pull it
that
up.
just leads you to
Yeah,
believe that there will be regression.
well,
And so I
exactly.
understand why people didn't throw money at him. And again, Boris has had off seasons like this before, so I'm not really surprised that he's not worried about it because I'm sure it'll be fine for him.
He's Scott
The end
Boris.
game, he'll be fine.
Like,
You can't kick him out of baseball, and there's no way that one fluky offseason is going to lead to him being kicked out of baseball and people redlining his players. That's just not going to happen.
exactly, and like there's question marks with all these guys. With Blake Snell, won the Cy Young last year. He's now a two-time Cy Young winner. Minus those two Cy Youngs, he hasn't been good. I mean,
He's not.
he
He's not like a firm ace. You
no.
don't throw him
Well,
up there as. I mean, okay, you would
it's
put him
yeah,
up there as he's an ace, but it's his stats don't scream ace, if that
no,
makes sense.
no. I completely agree with you. I mean, he had a 2.25 last year, and the year that he won the other Cy Young was a 1.98 or 1.89. Other than that, 3.38, 4.20, 3.24, 4.29. Like those aren't crazy years, and not only that, but he's not an innings eater either. I mean, his
No, he pitches.
last
He doesn't pitch.
no,
He doesn't pitch deep into games at all.
no, and I don't know whether that's his fault or if it's management. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't. I mean, his two Cy Young years, he had 180 innings pitched both years. Other than that, his highest innings pitched 129. Like
That's
that's not your ace.
that's
Like
not your ace. I mean, strikeout wise, yeah, sure, awesome. But he also walks at least four guys a game, so you're kind of worried about that. It's yeah, he might have 13 Ks, but he also might have walked in two runners.
yeah, he led major leagues last year with walks with 99 walks.
And that's the thing. With Cease, it's you got essentially the same pitcher.
Yeah.
You got the
Well,
same guy but right-handed.
well, and I think the other thing with Dylan Cease though is that he's coming on. I honestly think if I'm the White Sox, I'm very annoyed with this trade because I think you did it too early. I think they sold way too early. I think if they
I would have waited for the deadline if I was the White Sox here
that's I thought the same
because
thing.
you would have been able to someone. I mean, at this point, shit, we've been talking about the Yankees. They might have broke the bank for
Yeah,
him at the deadline, especially if Cole is iffy
you don't know
coming
what
off
you're
that
getting.
injury.
Yeah,
You might have gotten all of their best prospects because they need him. And you're just
yeah,
I think they'll be regretting this move in a couple months' time
I
because
agree because
we're going to get a crazy deal. We don't know if the Padres are even going to be close to the playoffs. I personally do not think they will be. So they might end up selling him. And then who gets the return? Not you, Chicago. San Diego gets it.
yep. And the thing about that is with last year, Dylan Cease had probably his worst year.
Oh, easily his worst year.
Yeah,
It was a
4.58 ERA.
4.58? Yeah.
4.58, and then the year before that, he had a 2.20 and was second on the Cy Young list. So
Oh, I think he won
why
the Cy
not?
Young his 2-2-0 year.
No, he was second. I got it
Damn,
pulled up right here. Yep,
that's crazy.
he lost it to last. That was in 2022. Oh my God, that's gonna drive. I'm gonna have to look it up because I'm curious now. Justin Verlander. Oh yeah. That was.
Oh,
Yep,
okay. Yeah,
yep,
that makes
yep,
sense.
yep. So yeah, I think with Dylan Cease, I think if they would have just waited, let him get those starts, let him show that he can still be that 2.20 guy, and they would have gotten an absolute haul for him.
Oh, it would
Like,
have been and that's the thing. The White Sox are clearly in this rebuild mode. You got to get the best prospect haul. Drew Thorpe might be a guy, but everyone else you're just kind of that doesn't move the needle at all.
no, I completely agree.
So
Um,
that's just that's my take on that situation. Good, you know what? If the Padres think that this is the thing that puts them over the top, I would completely disagree with them. I think they're completely incorrect. But you know what? They did need to revamp their pitching staff, especially considering the fact that Snell's not coming back. You definitely needed another pitcher, but I don't know how much this helps you. Like your
Yeah,
bullpen is a little questionable. All of your position players are going to be shortstops.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so I guess we'll see how it pans out. But with
Yeah,
that, we can flow right into
I was
the
gonna say
NL
that's a
West.
perfect segue for us.
Yeah. So if you want to start, that's fine. I got my list right up next to me as well. But
Let me pull up. I didn't exactly make a list of what each where everyone's gonna finish, but I can make that up as I go along.
yeah, that's fine.
I just had who is gonna win the division, which I think 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure we can all say who's gonna win the damn division. Like,
Uh, I
it's
think so. But
yeah.
I mean,
So
I think Central is going to be the most interesting one.
yeah. I think I agree. I'm sure not only do you and I have the Dodgers winning the division, ChatGPT has the Dodgers winning the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Shocker.
yeah. Big
That
shock.
one,
Um,
like they're gonna win like 110 games again,
yeah, and
and
then losing the
we're just gonna have to
NLDS.
deal with it. Yes, they'll get
um,
swept in the NLDS by a team that definitely shouldn't be sweeping them, but whatever.
yep. So I've got the Dodgers getting first place. I'm gonna go Diamondbacks getting second place. I'm gonna go Giants third. Ooh, no. I lied. You know what? Let me go back to my cheat sheet that I wrote out. So I've actually got the Padres getting third, and then I got the Giants getting fourth, and then unfortunately for the Rockies again, they're
Yeah,
rebuilding. I
they're
like their
fully in that rebuild, and they
yeah
really need to
they need to continue it
rebuild.
because
Yeah,
the next 10 years of the division is going to be pretty much Dodger dominated.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just kind of the forecast for the NL West for the next decade. But
Yep.
I had almost the exact same list, except I actually do have the Giants finishing third. And the
Okay.
reason I have them finishing third is I think they sign one of those Boris clients. I think they get one of Snell or
They
Montgomery, and I don't know who it'll be, but I think that puts them above the Padres.
see. I'm going to disagree with one thing on you saying that they're going to get them. Just because I feel like the Giants are always linked to all these players and they never get them.
I feel
Like
like
it's
people use the Giants as a smokescreen way more
I
often than I've ever seen.
same here. Like it happened with Judge when Aaron Judge was shopping around. Everyone knew he was going to be a Yankee again. It wasn't. It was like when he signed back. It was like oh big shock. Like everyone knew he was going to come back to the Yankees.
Arson
But
Judge appears headed to Giants.
yeah, and then it was exactly everyone's like, "Oh, Aaron Judge is in." He literally just took a trip to San Francisco and was like, "Oh, I'm in San Francisco," and everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to the Giants." And I really, I mean, that all that was a bargaining chip for him to be like, "Oh, the Giants offered me Yankees, come on."
Yeah, I do think they get one of them just because, like, at this point, it's getting so late in free agency that someone, like, there, Boris is going to get an offer, and it's not like he can really turn the screws to anyone at this point because you are so close to opening day.
Yeah, it's getting way too close to opening day to be turning anybody. Well, I shouldn't say turning anybody down, but like if it's for a reasonable price, you got to get them in. And I honestly
Yeah.
think what it's going to be, I think it's going to be similar to who was the Matt Chapman the Matt Chapman signing, where it's going to be another shorter term deal with some opt outs, and
Oh, they're definitely going to have opt outs at this point.
yeah, I think it's going to be another short term deal. They're going to have opt outs after the first 2 years. Um, and then they're going to probably opt out anyways because they'll join next year's class, and that's going to really drive up the market.
Oh, 100%. The next year's market is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be
Um,
nuts.
and I think that we got the winner. We know who's going to finish last in that
Yeah,
division.
yeah. That's. I mean,
The West is
I
going
really
to be
think.
boring.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think 2, 3, or I think 2, 3, and 4 could be interesting with the
Yeah,
Giants, Diamondbacks, and Padres. I think
those
that could be an
those
interesting
spots
one.
are going to be like more of a dogfight, but like number
Yeah,
one is really not in question, and number
no,
five is not in question. No offense, Rockies. Your ballpark's beautiful. It's great for
I love
hitting.
your. Yeah, I love your uniforms too. They're cool,
No,
but
their uniforms are very nice. I will give
yeah,
them that. The City Connects they could definitely change, but
yeah, yeah. They definitely
uh,
could change those.
but otherwise, I think they've just got to stay stuck in that rebuild and try and change everything up.
Yeah,
Um, moving on to probably the most wild division, the
yep.
NL Central. I'll let you go with your prediction first, since this is your division.
Yeah, this being a division that holds true to me, even though I've done, I think the first episode I did nothing but shit on the entire division. I just basically said it's a trash can division that's bad for baseball. Um, that that makes every other team in the division bad because nobody wants to spend any money, and whoever wins this division is just going to get knocked out of the playoffs right away. So I think I did a little rundown of my anger again.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously, me being a Cardinals guy, I got the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals winning the division. I don't think they're gonna win it by much. I think they're gonna win it by a game, and I think the team that's gonna be right behind them is the arch rival Chicago Cubs. I think they're going to be the second in the division. They just signed Imanaga, and Imanaga. I mean, his ERA doesn't look great for the preseason so far, but strikeout numbers are intense right
I
now.
saw, they just tweeted his last stat line from his most recent start. Oh my god, he looked
Yeah,
wicked.
yeah, he has been absolutely nasty. I mean, he's right now. Let's see. In spring training, he has 5.1 innings pitched, and where is my strikeouts? 10 strikeouts. So that leads to a 16.9 strikeouts per nine right now.
Holy hell!
Yeah, yeah. And then also Justin Steele. He's gonna be Justin Steele. I think he might regress a bit, but I don't think it's gonna be. He's gonna be their ace.
I
Like,
don't think he's getting top five Cy Young votes
no,
this year, but I think he'll be good. I think it'll be serviceable.
yeah,
And
that's
do I think he's going to pitch 200 innings? Probably not. However, I think he's probably going to get to like 180, something like that.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
he'll
agree.
be good, but it's again, he's not going to be like overly dominant. That's
And they
just
still have Jameson Taillon, who he's consistently just a good four guy.
the workhorse.
Drew Smiley, another workhorse. Kyle Hendricks is Kyle Hendricks. Like they got like
Been
they're gonna
around
be
forever.
yeah. And they got in the bullpen. They got Michael Fulmer in the bullpen. Mark Leiter. I mean, they're gonna be all right. They're not gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, they're gonna be all right. Seiya Suzuki's gonna have another good year. If now the big question mark for me, the big X factor in their lineup is gonna be Cody Bellinger. If Cody
If
Bellinger
he
comes
has
back,
a good year, you're probably more up on the Cubs than you
yes,
were previously.
yes. If
And
he has
that's
another
the
year
thing.
like last year, they're gonna be competing to win the division. If he regresses to old Cody Bellinger, I think they're third place now. Like if he has
It could be.
yeah. And then I got the Reds finishing third. I got the Brewers finishing fourth, and I got the Pirates finishing fifth. But I think that's going to be I really think this division is just going to
The
be.
division's going to be separated by 5
Yeah.
games, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and the sad part is it's all going to be around 80 games. Like
Yeah,
no one's.
well, that's true.
Yeah, it's not going to be some crazy. I shouldn't say 80, but it'll be like I think Cardinals win the division with like 89 games, 90 games maybe, and the Cubs are like at right behind them at like 89, 90 as well, or
It's like
90.
88 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be something like that, and then I think the last place team in the division is going to have like 78 wins. Like,
That's probably true.
yeah. So I mean, I think the Pirates will be like 78. Last year they had 76 wins, so it gives them 2 more wins. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment for them.
No,
I think,
I would agree. I think they're going to get better. I just don't know how much better it's going to be.
although the
I think
terrible
there's-
news with the Pirates is the Cuban Missile Crisis Instagram video. What the actual hell, man? This is worse than when you shot in your garage, dude. That was awful. Like, I have never been cursed by something so bad in my life.
I wish I had never seen it.
I would rather walk through broken glass than have to watch that video again. Like
Dude, the whole clubhouse had to be looking at him like, dude, what the hell?
that, and then like I saw some people like trying to back him up, like, oh, in their culture they're much more like touchy feel. I'm like, no, that is your mom. Like, no, hell no. It's disgusting. Like Chapman, that like Trevor Bauer should be reinstated for your spot because that is awful. Like it was, and I understand it's not criminal. It's not. I understand it's not criminal. It should be. It should be criminal.
You know, it
Like,
definitely should. But it should at least get you on a watch list.
yeah, a watch list. I mean, he probably already was on a watch list after shooting through
probably
his
true.
garage.
Yeah.
but he needs to be on another one. Like they
Yeah,
need to
no,
keep
it's
him.
like,
He should not be allowed within a school or a nursing home for sure. Definitely a
oh,
nursing
definitely
home.
not. Nursing home for sure. Like,
Yeah,
ban him from everyone in
but
the
yeah,
country.
no. If his mom goes into a nursing home, leave her there. Like he's not allowed to come visit.
No, can't. He can never visit.
All right.
Okay.
So I think
So,
that runs down my list of the Central.
yeah. So mine is a little bit different. You're gonna hate it.
I know. I know you. I know.
I have the Cubs winning it, but I also only have them winning it by like
God.
3 I know you're gonna hate it, dude, but like, the
I
thing
understand.
is,
I understand.
I genuinely think that the 1, 2, and 3 spots in this division are gonna be separated by like 3 games max. So realistically, if someone gets hot at the right time in October and the other two teams, well, not even October, September, uh, and the other two teams just have an off week, we could be looking at the Reds winning the division by some miracle.
I could see that. I mean, I could. I
It's
mean,
like, I think the top 3 teams are going to be somewhere between 84 and 88 wins,
yeah.
and you're going to have all of those teams just in a complete dogfight coming down to the end, and you're going to be like, who the hell is going to end up in the playoffs from the Central? No one's going to know. And those three
Who's gonna have
teams
to
I
play in
have,
the wild card series?
yeah, I have the Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, Brewers, Pirates.
All right. I don't want to fight you as
And
much as I thought I was gonna have to.
um the because I really do think you guys being the Cardinals are
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to be probably close. Like, you guys are probably going to, I think, 86 to 87 wins, because last year was such a fluke.
It was a weird year. I mean, literally, even Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado had bad years. Like,
Yeah,
when do those guys have bad years?
uh,
Like, it
never
doesn't
normally.
happen. Like, literally, last year was the first year in in Nolan Arenado's career that he did not win the Gold Glove.
Which is shocking.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't deserved. He had a bad. I mean, even defensively, he had a bad year.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of, I mean, arguably reasons why he didn't win the Gold Glove last year. I mean, a lot of like like if factors of why he was so bad defensively. Me personally, I think it's because the pitching was so brutal that when you're constantly walking guys all the time, you're constantly getting players on their heels. You're not ready for the ground ball. It's just not. That's, I mean, it's literally
yeah.
little league talk when you say, like, you gotta get the ball in play because your outfield or the fielders are gonna be on their heels. And I hate to say, but that is kind of true. Like, it sounds
I
like
mean,
little league talk, but it's true.
yeah, no, you're right. And you also have the almost 3 month long search for Adam Wainwright's 200th win. Because it was like every single time he started a game, they'd be like, he's searching for his 200th win tonight. And he'd get like rocked in the first inning because his
Yeah,
fastball was sitting 87. And you were just
yeah,
like, well, maybe next time. He
yeah.
finally
It
got it.
was. He
So
did get
good
it,
for him.
but it was like that was pretty much the. Oh my god! Do you know what his WHIP was last year?
Oh, it had to have been close to 2.
Yeah, 1.901.
Holy hell.
His ERA was a 7.40. I'm sorry, Wayno. I absolutely love you, and if you ever hear this, I'm sorry. But wow, that's brutal.
That was a rough one.
And he still made 21 starts last year.
Yeah. I
Like,
remember seeing
how, like, and I understand why, but it's like, I wish you would have went on your shield, retired on your shield with Pujols and Yachty at the same time. That would have been what should have happened.
that is what should have happened.
Yeah,
You can't win them all. I mean,
yeah,
because I remember that like month-long search for him to get that 200th win, and I was just like, every single time he was just getting absolutely rocked, and I was like, oh my god, at some point you have to give up. Like,
it's almost sad. It's like
it was sad.
it's like watching Mike Tyson at the end of his career, where it was like, oh, why are you going out there right now? Like, you're not training right. You're
It
gonna
felt
get
like old Yeller.
yeah. Yeah, just it was brutal. It was like, just put him out of his misery. Come on,
Watching all
throw in the towel.
tell him to go up there.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
It's so every 5 days he's going out to make that start. It's not going to be a good start, but it's out there.
It's like, oh, it's a start. But
Yeah, it's a start. It is definitely a start.
yeah,
All right, so let me get. So you obviously you had the Cubs. F
yeah,
you. Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers. No, you said Reds, Brewers,
yeah.
um, and then Pirates.
Pirates. I
And
do think Gorman hits 30 bombs. I need to bet that.
I agree. I think he hits 30 bombs. Um, I honestly think Nolan Gorman might hit the most home runs on the team next year. It's a
I
hot
think he
take.
will. No,
I
no, I completely agree with that. That dude rakes.
and also I think Jordan Walker's going to step up. I think last year was a little like he wasn't
I
quite
think
ready
it was
for the.
bright lights. Bright
Yeah,
lights
I agree.
for him.
I mean, he's a young guy. He's a really
He
young
also
guy.
hits the ball hard as hell. So
He was 21 last year and put up a 787 OPS. That's not bad.
I
Like
think I
as a
think he'll be good this year. I don't know how good he'll be defensively
yeah,
because
yeah, I agree.
defensively he was a little bit shaky.
Yeah, I mean
But
honestly, the Cardinals' outfield defense in general is shaky. I mean, we don't have a true center fielder. We don't.
no,
Like
it's Carlson kind of does whatever.
Dylan Carlson
Newbar
is
is relatively reliable defensively, but
yeah,
he's
he's
not
good.
like
He's got a cannon.
he's not going to blow your socks off with like a
No,
diving catch.
no, and Nolan, when is the Dylan Carlson experience or experiment gonna be over? They touted him like he was gonna be the best. They literally, I saw tweets saying that he was going to be the next Albert Pujols. What they were talking about, and I don't know what they were talking about because like literally. He last year he put up a 651 OPS. Year before that 695, and then like you do look at his AAA or his minor league statistics, and they're pretty impressive. But it's again not Albert Pujols level. In
Yeah,
2019, he was in AAA and AA 914 OPS. That's good. That's very good.
yeah, that is
But
good.
to say you're the next coming of Albert Pujols, we're stepping some grounds here. Like that's he better be putting up a 13 OPS if he's going to be the next coming of Albert Pujols. Like,
Yeah,
and
the
they did the
weight of
same thing.
expectation there is like when you tout someone to be potentially one of the best players in history.
Top three right-handed hitters of all time. Yeah,
That's tough. Like, I mean,
we can debate that another day. We'll debate that in an
yeah,
off-season episode.
because it's like you have Tommy Edman playing center field at
Yeah,
sometimes because
and he's a
Tommy
great.
Edman
He's
plays everything.
yeah, yeah. Tommy Edman can like. I'm pretty sure if they wanted to pitch him, they should have used him to pitch instead of Wainwright's starts last year. I think that would have gone a little better.
It would have been really fun watching Tommy Edman get his first win rather than Adam Wainwright get his
Oh my
200th.
god, that actually would have been kind of hysterical.
That would have
It's
been
like
hysterical.
because honestly, I think if Vegas betting odds had it, I think the odds would be in favor of Tommy Edman getting his first win over Adam Wainwright getting his
It would
200th.
have had to. It would have had to have been.
Yeah, which is sad. Again, I'm sorry.
It is sad.
I'm sorry, Wayno, but it was a bad year for you.
Yeah, but bad is almost nice to him there.
Yeah, that is nice. But the Cardinals have a history of doing this with prospects. Like they always like highly tout these prospects, where it's like, oh, this guy's gonna be the next coming of whatever, and then they're not. They're good. They're not great. Tyler O'Neill was another one. He wasn't. I mean, we obviously traded for him, but like Tyler O'Neill, he had one good year. Other than that, not even relevant.
It was
Like,
a really good 1 year too.
oh yeah, he had a 912 OPS, eighth in MVP votes.
He hit like 34 bombs.
You got it on the dot. But then last year, he hit 9 home runs. For a guy that can bench press a truck, like
That
you need
might
to be
be
hitting more
part of
home
the
runs than
problem.
that.
That might
Yeah.
be part of the problem. He's taking too much creatine.
Yeah, too much creatine.
I'm not accusing anyone of anything.
He's not on the Cardinals anymore, so you can accuse him of whatever you want now.
Yeah, I'm sure Jared would love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess so. We've kind of ad nauseum went into the NL Central and what we think that's going to pan
The
out to be.
focus being the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, mostly. I wonder why that is.
Hmm.
Now let's go into your division. And since it's your
Yeah.
division, I'll let you start it off. If you have the
Okay.
Phillies winning this division, I might fight you.
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay.
As much as I would want that to happen, it's gonna be the Braves again, and the Braves are
Okay.
gonna win 115 games. And then I'm gonna have Snicker on my phone complaining about the layoff in the playoffs, and all of that is gonna come back up, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it eventually. I have us finishing second. I actually have, I think, the same order as last year. I have Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Mets, and Nats. Um, Mets and Nats technically could switch, maybe, if the pitching for the Nats actually turns. No, no, no. The reason I say that is because I think Gore is actually going to be a lot better this year.
I'll agree with that.
And I do like their other pitcher, the number 40, Josiah Gray. I
Okay,
do
yeah,
like
yeah,
Josiah Gray.
yeah.
I
He's
don't
he's
know
pretty good.
who. I don't know who their opening day starter is going to be. I would imagine it would be Mackenzie Gore, but
I don't know. I agree, but I would agree with you. But I mean, like, other than Mackenzie Gore and Josiah Gray, it's been a dumpster fire for their starting pitching. I mean,
their starting pitching is bad. But
Patrick Corbin went from being one of the best pitchers in baseball to last year at a 5.20 ERA.
Patrick Corbin had his one year, his MJ flu game year was the year they won the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, in that year
And
he
that
was
was
he was
it.
dominant.
Oh yeah, he was great. Like you had teams from all across the league pitching to him in the offseason to try and get him on their team.
In
Like
20
even the Yankees had a screen ready for him to sign in New York. So did the
so
Phillies. And I was like, at this point, it's like, thank God Bullet dodged. But oh my God, that would have been a nightmare. The reason I think the Mets and the Nats could flip is because I think the Mets and the Nats pitching is almost comparable at this point because you have Senga and Sevy at the top of that Mets rotation. And then after that, it gets kind of like, are you sure they're going to be the guy? And it's kind of the same thing with the
it,
Nats. And their lineups, it's like the Mets are just
well,
older, whereas the Nats might have Dylan Cruz starting in the MLB this year.
did I not see that Jose Quintana is going to be the opening day starter for the
Oh,
Mets?
you did, you did,
Yeah, I thought I saw that.
yeah.
But Jose Quintana's not bad. He's
He's
really
not.
not.
He's
He's not
not
great,
bad,
but he's
but
not bad.
his regression is kind of catching up with him. His fastball's sitting like 89 to 90 right now,
Yeah, that's rough.
which and that's the thing. He only is like a 3 pitch guy.
He was on
So
three team. Oh no, I'm sorry. Last year was with the Mets with 3.57 or with a 3.57 ERA, and the year before that he had a 2.93 between the Cardinals and the Pirates.
yeah, because you guys
Um,
traded for him before the deadline.
yep.
He
He
started.
was one of. I think he started game one of the playoffs for
I
us.
think he started game one of the
Yeah,
playoffs. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he
It was-
did.
Yeah, no, he had to have started. No, yes, because Michaelis started game 2.
Oh yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
actually, that was Michaelis's good year actually.
but
And
Michaelis isn't a bad pitcher. So he just okay. He's
he's
not.
he's good. He's all right.
He's
He's
yeah,
a great 4 starter in my opinion.
yes, he's a great 4. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
But
he should not be your ace.
no, no, definitely not.
Yeah,
See, it always comes back to the Cardinals.
sorry.
But
I know you.
so,
I was actually shocked. I thought we'd be doing a lot more of that with the Phillies, and
no, the thing is, like, I believe the Phillies will be a little bit better than they were last year. I don't think they're a 100-win club. I could see 92. If they're really locked
see,
in, I could see them pushing 95, but I don't see them
that's
going
what I was going to
above
say.
that.
I was going to think like 95.
Yeah, like 95, I think is realistic, but I also think they have to like start fast because the last 2 years they've started slow. And
They
yes,
have.
last year they got 90, and they're more than capable of getting to 95, but they actually have to play like it.
Yeah,
The
and
Braves are going to win 115 games. We all know that,
yeah,
but it's just as long as you keep pace with them and make it like slightly exciting, fine. Because I think that whereas we have in the West, you have the 1 and that's it, and then the 2, 3, and 4 are going to fight. In the Central, everyone is essentially clubbing each other for the entire season. With the East, it's like the Phillies and the Braves, when they meet in the playoffs, actually, it's a dogfight. And in most of the games where they play against each other, it's a dogfight. But the Phillies lose games they shouldn't outside of that series because every time we play the Braves, we play them pretty tough. I think last year we were the only team that never got swept by them.
yeah. It feels like the difference between the Braves and the Phillies was exactly what you said. The Braves don't lose the games that they're not supposed to lose. The Phillies will lose a lot of those games that they're not supposed to lose. They will
We
lose
lost
to the games
series to the Pirates
yeah,
last
exactly,
year.
exactly.
You
And
can't have that happen if you're going to
and I-
compete with the Braves.
And I think where the difference comes in with that is I think the Braves' depth is a little stronger than the
100%.
Phillies' depth. I mean, the Phillies have their starting rotation, their starting nine, their starting everything is good. But when it comes to their Phillies bullpen's suspect at times, it's gotten a lot
It can
better.
be
It's
suspect.
gotten
Yeah, it's
it
gotten
can
a
be
lot better,
suspect.
but it can be suspect.
The Braves bullpen is good. Like they're good. The Braves overall are good. And then like anytime there's injuries, the guys who take over for them, and I think the Phillies made a big pickup with picking up Whit Merrifield in that
Yeah.
aspect where they added some depth to that lineup. And I think
That's that's where
yeah,
the 95 win comes
yep,
in. Like, I
I
think
agree with
they're
you.
better than they were last year. I don't think they're winning the division. Do I think they make it a little bit closer than they did last year? Yes, but that doesn't mean they're going to get close to winning the division.
Well, exactly,
Um,
because I think you can punch in, like you said, punch in the Braves for 100 plus wins. Like
yeah, the
it's
Braves are an
it's gonna happen.
automatic 100 plus wins at this point. And
Yep.
like, if you're thinking about like the third place team here, like the Marlins might get a wild card spot out of coming third here.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it, and I haven't loved what they did because of them letting go of Kim Inge,
yeah.
but they're not a bad ball club.
No, they're not a bad ball club, and I think the addition of Tim Anderson makes them a little better. If Sixto Sanchez comes back and does what he can do, they'll be good.
Hey, dude,
Um,
he almost hit 99 yesterday.
Seven Toe Sanchez is back at it.
Oh yeah,
The reason I say Seven Toe is because man, did he put on some weight? Um,
holy hell! Yes, he
yeah,
did.
yeah. Hey, mass equals gas, baby. Mass equals gas. Ask
Hey,
Lance
you
Lynn
talk to CC Sabathia,
or
he knows
CC. There's
that.
another one exactly, or Bartolo Colon the goat.
Oh
Who's
yes,
I'm pretty sure is still out there pitching somewhere. I don't know
I
where,
think
but
he's pitching in one of the like Dominican summer leagues or something
yeah,
like that.
just love how he's still out there at like 53 years old. Like, you know what? I'm going to throw to these guys. And
I think he got an offer to pitch in like the Saudi baseball league too. He might actually be doing that. I'm not sure, but I think he is.
oh my god, I would love to see that. I everything that man does is I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the video from Baseball Doesn't Exist account? They did a Bartolo Colon video. After this episode, I'm sending it to you because it is
Do it.
hysterical. Like
This guy is
it
a.
goes through his entire life story. It is so funny. Like it.
I believe it. That guy is
Um,
that guy is something.
But anyways, yeah. But back to the Marlins. They got Jesus Luzardo still there, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Luzardo. I think they
yeah.
said
They got
Garrett
Luzardo,
was. Yeah,
Braxton Garrett, Edward Cabrera. I mean, and then in the bullpen they got AJ Puck, who is nasty.
I
Like
think they said they were going to try and stretch him to being a starter.
I thought I saw that too, and I don't know if I like that honestly.
I don't know if I love it either. He did kind of struggle, like after coming over to the Marlins, when he was coming out of the bullpen, like in like late and close game situations, especially when he was their closer before they signed Robertson.
Mhm.
He was good, but it's like they never really defined a role for him. And he eventually became like a sixth, seventh inning guy, and you like it just wasn't clear what they wanted to use him for.
Yeah,
And
and
if they want to put him as a starter, I mean, if that's more comfortable for him, fine. But who's coming out of your bullpen now? You
yeah,
like, you got to make up your mind because you're like Tanner Scott is the only sure thing they have in their entire pitching
yes, 100.
staff
percent
in their bullpen. Everything else, like yeah, your starters are pretty much set. But if you're making AJ Puck a starter, it's like where is Yuri Perez gonna go? You don't have Alcantara this year, which is fine. We knew that.
Yeah.
Cabrera has a tweaked shoulder, which he tweaked like last week.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he just tweaked it. It was like
Got it. Did
very.
it say he's
It was
gonna be
like
out for a while?
recent. I don't think so. I think they said a couple weeks
I'm gonna look that up
because it's like yes, that's of note, but it's
because I need to
also
know.
like
I need to know that for MLB the Show.
launch tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Launch. Oh, by the way, for the listeners, we will be likely live streaming some games of us playing each other, and it's probably gonna get pretty visceral.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it'll definitely get visceral.
the next episode of the podcast might start off with us just fighting each other. Um,
We're gonna physically brawl.
yeah, I'm gonna fly out to Syracuse to beat his ass.
Oh, that would be fun.
um,
Yeah.
Anyways, uh, let's see. So it says here that he's Edwards Cabrera's
Yeah.
day to day.
I don't
So
think they
that's not a
know
big
the
deal.
extent of the injury. It didn't look bad. It's like he didn't throw a pitch in that game. They just took him out, I guess it was precautionary, which is
Yeah,
probably smart because you don't want him to tweak it if it is something bad. Because
exactly, and
the guy
especially
throws 100. Like,
yeah,
there's no reason to risk that, especially when you're already thinking about converting Puck to being a starter.
yep.
You need sure things in your rotation, and Cabrera is one of those sure things. Yes, he walks a ton of guys, but he's been getting better.
I
So
mean, he had a 3.15, or no, I'm sorry. I guess I was looking at Yuri Perez. I'm sorry. He had a 4.24 ERA last year, 4.43 FIP. Strikeout rate is 10.7. So I mean, he's got the strikeout stuff.
yeah, no, he
His
definitely has the
walks is
strikeout
where
stuff.
he has the issue for sure.
Yeah,
6 walks per
sometimes
nine. That's rough.
yeah,
That's
it's
rough.
just sometimes it looks like he doesn't know where his pitches are going,
Well, it's kind
and
of hard to know when they're moving that much and they're throwing that hard.
well, yeah, because his changeup is like a literal fastball.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
like 92 miles an hour. Like,
I think his average last year was like 95, which is crazy.
giving the giving him the old the Zach Greinke power changeup.
Yeah, I mean, Greinke threw his changeup harder than he threw his damn fastball last year.
Yeah, that sounds like yeah. I mean, he's been doing that the last few years. It's like for some reason he's like, you know what? I'm going to throw the fastball at 85 miles an hour and then the changeup at 87 miles an hour.
And you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and the changeup moves too. It's like why not throw
Yeah.
the call that your fastball now? Like
Yeah, at this point, you may as well. It's
call it your
just a
two seam.
two-seamer. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a two-seamer.
All
It's
right.
like,
So
I
I think we
that's
both have the yeah. I think we have the East the same. I think we have the exact same. I think I have the Braves, Marlins, Phillies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Mets, Nationals, and you have it that way as well.
yep,
Yep.
that's exactly
So
mine.
I think that's pretty much the same. Also, I didn't go back. By the way, uh, for the NL Central, ChatGPT had the Brewers winning the division, which I think they knew. I think they didn't know about the Burns trade. They didn't.
It
It's
definitely didn't.
yeah. It was before. This is a 2021 version of
Yeah.
ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT also has the Braves winning the NL East. So they, yeah, even with the limited knowledge that they have, they still got it right. I'm not even going to say I can't say they for sure got it right, but they got it right. And same thing with
Well,
the
yeah.
NL West with the Dodgers. Like yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they got those parts right.
So I also did wild card teams. Did you pick some wild card teams?
Yes, actually, I did.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to start or do you want me to start it out?
You go ahead and start.
All right. So for my 2024 wild card teams, I have the Padres sneaking in. And this, I wrote this out before I saw the Dylan Cease trade, but I'm going to make an argument for it right now. I think Cease has a good year. I think Yu Darvish does kind of the same thing that he's always done.
Yeah.
I think Fernando Tatis does what he kind of keeps doing. I think Machado has a bounce back year. I don't think it's possible for him to have another year like that. I think he was just brutally bad last year. I think Ha-Seong Kim is going to be good and going to be good for them next year. Cronenworth, I think, is going to have a little bit of a bounce back year as well. I think Austin Nola is going to do what he does, just kind of good defensive
He's
catcher. Not
serviceable.
gonna, yeah, exactly. I think Seth Lugo is going to have a good year as a starter. I think them transitioning him to being a starter is big. Wait, he got traded. I'm sorry, he's with the Royals now. Yeah, I think Joe Musgrove. He's been having a terrible spring. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah,
His spring has been brutal.
He's been very off.
Yeah,
He
I think he'll
doesn't
figure it
know how
out.
to locate. No, I think he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean he's been good for too long to not figure it out. I think
Yeah, no, I
he might
agree.
be trying something new. And I think he's not. I don't think he's going to be like a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but he's going to be a
He'll be
3
solid.
ERA guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he'll be solid.
yeah. So I think they're going to sneak in. I think they'll be the team to just kind of sneak in. Then I think the Diamondbacks will finish above them, and they'll be the team that is the clear. I think they're going to be second wild card spot to the Phillies, who are going to be my number one wild card spot because I think, like you said, I think they're going to get 95 wins. Unfortunately, the Braves are just going to win 1,000 games.
Yeah.
And I think the Phillies it'll end up being another dogfight in the playoffs between the Phillies and Braves again. I think they're going to match up again like usual.
Yeah.
And it'll make for a fun back and forth again.
Oh yeah, I think this year it'll probably end up going 5. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of everything, I think this year it'll go 5.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I just don't see it ending up being a 3-1. I think it's going to be do or die last game.
Yep,
And
I completely agree, and I think like I think the I think this I'm gonna call it now. I think Spencer Strider has a freaking dominant outing against you guys game one. I think game one he is going to shove because I think it's going to get through his head because I mean Philly's Twitter's all over it saying Spencer Strider can't pitch against them even though he struck out eight against you guys last time and only gave up 1 earned run but still got the loss. Like
yeah.
and
Well,
the
again,
first time he faced you guys he was injured. So
yeah, and it's like you've said this multiple times. If you only give up 1 run applied to you, you'd be fighting your entire team.
yeah. No, I'd pull a Amir Garrett and charge the entire clubhouse. Like
Like again, like DeGrom having a 9-9 record with a 1.77 ERA.
criminal.
I should legally be allowed to beat the hell out of one of my teammates.
Oh, I'd go further. I'd say maybe decapitate
I would go
someone.
further. Yeah, no, I would go further. However, for legal reasons, I will not elaborate.
Well, okay. I apparently don't care about legal reasons.
There are some things that I think he should have been allowed to do for that he would never be allowed. He would be in Guantanamo Bay for it.
Yeah, for legal purposes, these are hypotheticals. None of this would actually happen.
We're not suggesting
Also,
that it's okay.
We're just saying that we understand.
If he said that was the reason, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't agree with your behavior, but I do understand. I completely understand.
Your reason for acting out was very valid.
Yeah. All right, so your wild card predictions.
So Phillies have got as wild card 1.
I'm shocked.
We got to win in 95 games. I have the D-backs as wild card 2, and I actually have your Cardinals as wild card 3.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think you guys have there's no possible way in my mind that you guys have a season like last year. I think Arenado and Goldschmidt both have much better years, and I think some guy we didn't even touch on, Mason Wynn. I think Mason Wynn probably makes an impact at the big league level this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Totally could have pitched instead of Waino. He throws 100 anyway.
Yeah. He, I think definitely Mason Wynn's going to make an impact. I don't know. Again, he's another one that the Cardinals front office like to tout out and say that he's going to be the next coming of Jesus at shortstop. But I think he's going to be great defensively. Hitting, I think we'll see.
Yeah, it's up in the air.
Yeah. So, and then ChatGPT's wild card predictions. They have the Mets, the Reds, and the Giants. Minus the Mets pick, I don't think it's an awful list.
Yeah, minus the Mets pick, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds and the Giants could sneak in. I don't think it's probable.
No, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it's probable.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, the 2021 Giants literally won 100 games.
Yeah, I have no idea what deal Gabe Kapler made with the devil for that one. But
I will never like that. And they beat the Dodgers for the division, which I thought was completely impossible.
Them winning 100 games with the roster they had is a miracle within itself.
I mean, the corpse of Brandon Crawford had a historic year. Evan Longo had a great year. Mike Yastrzemski was all right. He did all right. Brandon Belt had a 975 OPS that year. Yeah.
All right. So we're not going to suggest anything. They had to have been cheating.
Yeah. I'm not going to 100% be on board with that, but if it came out, it would be the least shocking news that would come out.
That would not surprise me at all if it was like, oh yeah, no, the 2021 Giants, they were stealing signs. It would be like, oh yeah.
I would think it'd be further than that. Honestly, I'd be like, oh yeah, the entire Giants roster decided, you know what, this is the year we're all juicing. Every single one of us. We got Barry Bonds' secret stuff.
Especially Brandon Crawford.
Yeah. Well, and then even freaking Buster Posey, that was his last year. 889 OPS. Yeah, from a catcher. I mean, the last 2 seasons before that, he didn't play in 2020 because of COVID. But In 2019, he had a 688, and the year before that, a 741. Where did that come from? This is like, it's literally like Space Jam, where they
The
had the
Jordan
magic.
secret
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. The Jordan secret stuff. Exactly.
This makes less and less sense all the time. I have no idea how they
Yeah.
did that.
It just that whole it didn't make sense. I mean even Anthony DiSclafani had a
Oh,
three
fake.
one seven.
Fake player.
Yeah,
Completely
yeah,
fake
right.
player.
He had a 3.9 or 3.17 that year.
That's
Alex
ridiculous.
Alex Wood 3.83. Johnny Cueto 4.08.
Johnny
What?
Cueto has been a shell of a pitcher for forever at this point.
Yeah. Other than that year, well, actually no. It's funny. In 2022, he actually had a 3.35 ERA. But the
Okay.
years before, it's so weird. He had like I'm looking at it now. He had like a weird resurgence. Last year had a 602, 2022 335, 2021 408, and then the years before that 540, 506. Yeah.
What the hell?
So, yeah. Like I said, I'm telling you, they had something in the water. Mike's secret stuff. Um, that's the only way that they did
Something
that
in the
year.
water in San Fran.
Yeah,
It's
that year.
micro. It's actually microplastics, but
It's just plastic at this point.
because like I out of curiosity, I wanted to see if Mad Bum was on that team.
No,
He was
no.
not. He was
He
raging
was
in the Arizona desert.
raging is a good way to put it with anything to do with Mad Bum. Like it's
Yeah.
honestly, I'm honestly shocked. That's who I thought the Cardinals would go sign. I really thought the Cardinals were going to go try and sign Madison Bumgarner,
It
and
would have been funny.
it would have been hilarious. But it also, here's what I actually would not have been mad about it for one reason and one reason only. Regular season, he's going to be terrible. I mean, awful, awful.
He just
But
knows how to pitch in the playoffs.
that playoff, I refuse to believe that he still can't do it in the playoffs. I refuse to believe it. Like, I understand that the stuff's not there anymore, anything like that. But there was a story of him taking a nap on the bus ride from the hotel to the game in a game where he was starting on the mound in the playoffs. Like, talk about ice in your veins. Like, that is like,
Cracked out of his mind.
yeah, just like, oh, wait, what? I got to go pitch in the wild card game? Oh, all right, let me get this thing moving.
Yeah,
Like, what the? That's talking
that's
about
crazy.
don't care. Like,
He's kind of like he's a little bit psychotic, kind of like the you remember
all
the
pitchers are psychotic.
yeah you remember the 2021 World Series where Max Fried was just kind of sitting there completely alone and like just looking at the ground. He
Oh
just
yeah,
looks like
yeah,
a maniac. And it was
yeah.
like that's exactly like Max Fried is a psycho. Clearly,
All
the
pitchers
guy's
are.
nuts.
All pitchers are completely insane. Like
Yeah, it's true.
it's a. I mean, I was a pitcher, hence why I'm doing this. And into yeah, there's people. I've told people that I'm a pitcher, and they're like, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
that's it, right? I
yeah,
think that's
I think
all of
that's
our
it.
predictions for
Yep.
the NL.
That is our NL predictions episode.
Remember, primary NL podcast, first of
Yes,
its
we are
kind.
primarily an NL podcast. Yes, because almost everybody is AL. Which screw the AL. Y'all are boring anyways. Not really. I mean, it's kind of cool, but that's NL
We'll
is
talk
better.
about you later.
Yeah, we'll talk about you
You'll get
next
your time.
episode. Next episode, we'll be doing the AL podcast. But now that everything is up, I can tell everybody to follow us on Instagram at the Baseball Diaries, on Twitter at the BB Diaries, subscribe on YouTube at the Baseball Diaries Pod. Yeah, follow us on and then also you can follow us on Spotify. So listen, subscribe, like, share our stuff because we want people to listen. So it's not just us talking to each other.
Yeah, it's like if we end up doing live streams, say like on Sunday Night Baseball, we want you guys to interact. Once
Yeah.
you guys start listening, that is. And yeah, it's going to be a long season. May as well have fun with it.
Yep. All right. See y'all later.